order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, then we'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting, August 8th. So I had a chance to take a look at any corrections.
I make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Go ahead. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting, August 8th, 2016. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Then we'll move on to the general fund vouchers, 73771 through 73806, and wire transfers 161-70047 through 161-70060. I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the general fund vouchers as read. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to the public comment section. Anybody got anything they want to comment on? Okay, we'll move on to our old reoccurring business then, consideration, discussion, or approval of a bus driver's handbook.
Okay, so the administrative team met with the bus drivers and the transportation department last week to discuss the upcoming school year and then also to discuss the handbook. Right now we talked about the bus drivers having a handbook, and then they also function off the support staff handbook. So we asked for some input and feedback, and ultimately decided to request that the board approve this handbook with some of the changes that you recommended, and then throughout this year we'll work on adopting some of the support staff handbook and embedding it within the bus driver's handbook, so that way there's just one handbook that they're operating off of, and then they can just sign that once it's approved.
Were there any significant changes or anything in right now?
No significant changes, just there's some some updating, there's some old, some verbiage that needs to be updated on it as well.
And that's the highlighted stuff?
Yeah, and then I had also said, we need to revisit this year at some point the job description that was adopted in 1992, that we could revisit that and add to that, so.
All right.
And then some of, like I think David mentioned at the last meeting, the uses of radios on the buses, switch that to electronic devices. Taking that letter F out and I didn't put it in the board policy, I don't remember what it is, but the sexual advancement, and then adding some stuff connected to the CPI like we talked about
Okay.
last board meeting.
So at the meeting that you had with the bus drivers, did they have some input into what was going in the handbook, or did they have a chance to look it over and kind of?
Yeah, so we went through the whole handbook together. They had a little bit of input, and then I think once we start adding the support staff stuff, they'll have some more input. I think it's going to be it'll be a work in progress. So we'll have to meet a couple times to go over it and then have them take a look at it. And then some, kind of minor changes with the bus numbers and whose bus route is attached to who has changed with the two recent retirees.
Okay, any other discussion regarding the bus driver's handbook? Then I will entertain a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the school bus driver's handbook. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Then we'll move on to the discussion of the Clear Lake School District's mission and core values.
Okay, so just have a rough draft of, it's just a PDF right now, but just a graphic that we're working on to create some posters for the district, and then possibly, we talked about magnets, and then getting some input from the staff here as well, as far as, I guess for lack of better terms, some marketing ideas to bring into the district. So just, really just an agenda item, just wanted you guys to bring you up to speed and let you know that we're continuing to move forward on trying to come up with some ideas with it.
Is this an example of one of the,
Yep, so this could be blown up into a poster or like a little magnet. So this is just one idea or option.
And is this done in-house, or do we have someone do this?
Yeah, this was done in-house.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the look.
So,
looks good.
Yeah, on that same note with mission and things, are these documents, are these templates? Like the agenda notes and the minutes and things like that? Is this like, does this already just, you don't add this in every time?
I just created it and then for myself, when I
Okay.
made the
Okay.
agendas and,
I was just thinking we could do the same kind of thing with the mission and have the tag like on the bottom of
Oh,
everything
sure.
kind of thing, and so
Yep.
that you sort of template it so that it's consistent everywhere you have any kind of
yep,
a paper.
and I'll add it as just a footer to this.
Would that just be the mission part?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would, yeah.
Then you don't have to think about it every time, it's just always there.
Yeah,
And I know I had talked about us reading the mission statement during every meeting, so I'll take this opportunity to read it. For any of you that haven't heard it, this is what it is. The Clear Lake School District prepares students in an active partnership with families and the community to become lifelong learners and responsible citizens. So there it is. Okay, any more discussion on the mission and core values? Okay, then we'll move on to the discussion of our board retreat. So, I threw some dates out there, and I didn't note what notations you guys made, but Nettie, they were both, the dates that they threw out were all good for you.
No, there was one, the end of September,
So the September 29th was out then?
right, and that was out for somebody else too.
Yeah, and I think, Pete,
I had said all of them were good at.
they were all
at that
good for
time.
you.
Yeah.
Dave?
Whatever, just throw them out there.
Okay, the 15th of September and the October 13th date.
15. September what?
September 15th
Thursday.
or October 13th?
I'm gonna have to look now, Greg, because when I said it, it was fine.
Yep, that's fine.
I'll have to look too. Those are the two dates, though.
Those are two of the three that he threw out.
What was the third one? That was an out though, right?
Yeah, that one's out because Nettie is busy that night. And we can just keep fishing in this pond until we find a date. So,
Yeah, if we do that retreat, is that a WSAB thing? WASB? Is he coming from the, we getting someone from the WASB?
he would, this gentleman was, yeah.
Yeah, so that would
Would.
count then as attending
A training, yep.
Yeah.
I would think it would, but the wording that's in the motion that was made at the last annual meeting states that we had to go attend a WASAB.
well, this is, we're bringing them to us.
So we should probably check on
And you
that.
can
just
even
to be-
ask at the,
Mhm.
tonight for any professional growth opportunities,
Right.
rather than going to the WSB, just if the intention is there.
Yeah, that would work.
Probably save money for the school district since we don't have to go into that.
Right. Okay. So we still have oh, you want to check yet?
I
Pete?
just
Get back
checked,
to me.
both of them are still good for me.
Okay, so I'll check with Brent then, and then
And
we'll
I'll
get.
pencil them both dates in, so nothing gets on my calendar.
Can
Okay.
you tell me the September one again? So,
September 15th.
That was a Thursday.
Yeah,
Both of them were.
And when I spoke via email with Guy, I'll read you guys what he had replied. He said, as far as the topic, he said, "We may be able to briefly fold your vision and mission into a discussion. However, beginning a strategic planning process takes multiple meetings. It would also appear that your greater need at this time of the board is the board administration governance with a strategic plan to follow at some point down the road. So he's kind of steering us towards board administration governance. Is there anything that we would want to throw on the table again at this time, as far as what we want to talk about at the retreat?
I think when I was transitioning in, you guys were talking about roles and expectations for not necessarily individuals, but the positions.
For the boards,
Yeah.
yeah, for the board as a whole. Well, if you think of anything, just email me and then we'll,
What was his last name?
Levitt,
Levitt.
Leavit, I believe. VITT. So we'll get the date set and then we'll have our retreat. Any other discussion regarding the retreat?
No, thanks for following up on that.
Okay. So then, we'll move on to our new business. Review of the 2016 annual meeting document.
Hey.
Hey, Brent.
Is that it? Is that right there? Is that what they're handing
Is that what
out?
this is here, Brent?
Oh, sorry.
I think I'll take one of yours.
Okay. All right, so this is first crack at it. So this is what I have for the packet that's going to, and the information that's going to be delivered tonight at the annual meeting. So as far as the budget is concerned, it's all, as you guys know, the projected numbers. So it was quite an interesting process for me. A little bit of shooting in the dark is what it sounds like, is what it seems to be every single year. So I have the welcome and the notices that we legally have to do, and then the annual meeting, the agenda. We have the starting off the same, the approval of last year's minutes, the annual 2015 annual minutes, approval of the budget and tax levy, approval of the school board salaries for next year, and then I have the consent agenda items on there, and then discussion of new business. We have mission and core values, again, just to share with the stakeholders that show up at 8, and then also the new web page, which we're going to be going, Marcy is going to be going over tonight as well with Ben. And for the state of the district, just the report from myself and our 2 principals, elementary principal, Mr. Peterson, and 712 principal, Mr. Gillis. You have the minutes, then we can go to the, if you want to jump to page 8. The budget summary. So on this, nothing's changed from when I brought it to you the first time. The numbers on there. We are financially looking good for next year. Enrollment's gone up a little bit even this summer. Open enrollment numbers have gone up. So really the big thing for us, the mill rate, the tax levy, right now the projected mill rate on page 10, we're going to have a 2.25% decrease, so it's going to be a 1066 projected mill rate for next year. I should say for this year, which is a good thing. And like I shared with you guys, we've finished paying off one of our large referendum loans. Another one has kind of filled that void, so that's kind of a wash, but we have completed paying off one. On page 11, I have the district mission and core values statement again. The school calendar for next year. And then, ending it with the staff list, which we've had a large number of turnover in the last little bit here. So just some new hires and some people leaving for whatever reason.
Did we have a packet last year, you guys?
No.
Nice packet, Josh.
Thanks, appreciate it.
I'm looking through these, this motion that was made by Mr. Dean. There's an addendum C. It says C addendum C. What is that?
Addendum C.
Addendum C was the copy of the letter that Randy read in the petition that he did last year, which is
Oh,
not.
okay. Not a part of this. Okay. And then I'm just trying to make sense of what this motion is. I mean, it rambles on and on and on. I mean, usually we make a motion to do one thing or another, and it really doesn't specify.
What page are you on?
Page 6. I'm just looking at the
The
notes.
last paragraph?
Huh?
The last paragraph on 6?
Yeah, I mean, what is the motion? I mean, it was voted for. I mean, that's fine, I'm just curious to. Usually we make a motion to do this or to do that, you know. A motion was made to allow the school board to select a date. That's a motion we agreed on, you know.
Well, Randy strategically placed a lot of information in that paragraph to rebuke a lot of the information that was out at the time.
Yeah, but it's a motion that people vote on. What is, I mean, what did they vote on other than you had a chance to do a open meeting, public comment in the form of a motion? Is that what it was, or what? So anyway, I'm just bringing that to your attention because I was wondering what the addendum C was, and I failed to find a specific motion in there, actually.
Well,
And then this is prior to, you know, now we're keeping the minutes to a minimum. You know what I'm saying? This is all kind of opinion. If you look, there's probably about 5 to 10 references to I, or me on here, so.
well, I think if you got some corrections that you'd like to make with this, Dave, I think you'd want to do that at the annual meeting when
I just,
And the annual meeting isn't our meeting, it's the public's meeting, so
Right.
they will run it the way they want to.
right.
Okay. Josh, you got any more about this fabulous packet?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So the stage is set for the annual meeting tonight. So for now, then we'll move on to approval of our staff resignation.
Okay, so we have one resignation. Michelle Nelson has submitted her letter of resignation. She's accepted a full-time position with the Amory School District. She's currently a JK.5 support staff, and the position that she's accepted is a full-time position.
Okay. Then I will entertain a motion to accept Michelle's letter of resignation.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve Michelle Nelson's letter of resignation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. All right, then we'll move on to the approval of our bus driver hires.
Okay, so we have two positions that we had retirements from last year. Dennis Blease and Gene Cool retired from the district with many years of service to the Clear Lake District, so we appreciate it. Rob Erickson and Eric Robel, thank you, have been selected to replace those two positions. So at this, just asking for board approval on those two hires.
Make a motion to approve that. Rob Erickson and Eric Roble.
A little background, Rob has been driving, he's our golf coach. He has been subbing for us quite a bit for driving. And Eric's wife is in the district. She's a secretary over at the elementary building.
Okay, I've heard a motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the bus driver hires Rob Erickson and Eric Rule. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, now we'll move on to the approval of our custodian hire.
Okay, so this position, Deborah retired from the Clear Lake District as well, so we appreciate her service. And the selection committee selected Dave Reindahl as filling the part-time elementary position as night custodian over there.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve Dave Reindahl.
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve Dave Reindahl as our custodian hire. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Then we'll move on to our approval of the JK support staff hire.
So this one, I just asked that we table and discuss in closed session.
Okay. So then we'll move on to our new business, point F, discussion of our new website.
Okay, before Ben and Marcy and Benny present. I'd just like to say how much we appreciate Ben, Benny, Marcy, and Dylan. All three of them have put in just a tremendous amount of work in our new website that's ready to roll out.
Everybody's got a laptop in front of them. If you haven't signed in, go ahead and already do that. There should be a sheet on your laptop. That's so you guys can, as we go through it, you can peruse at your own leisure and see what's actually out there. So obviously you can do it when you go home tonight. You'll have the address that you can do as well. But the goal is to kind of take it live tomorrow if you guys are okay with what you see.
Sorry, my computer was dying. It's coming back to life.
So if everybody wants to open Internet Explorer on their laptops, we're just going to keep going on this thing. Yep.
They may have died.
Do I have to
Use the sub one, I think.
Sub one?
Yeah, that's wrong.
And for the address, type in new.clwarriors.org. CLWARRIORS.org.
I forgot where I was here.
Sorry, but
It's new CLWarriors.org.
.org. I didn't know. I think make sure everybody gets it.
New.clwarriors.org. The only reason for the new right now is because the site's
Yeah,
not live.
right.
We didn't want people stumbling across it by
Yep.
accident. But they saw our new Gmail addresses. So.
.org.
New.clwarriors.org.
I like the red banner.
Put that in the address bar. It won't come up on any web searches.
Oh, does that mean we should get our own?
Trying to make it not obvious intentionally. It's not that there's any national secrets out there, but we don't want confusing or conflicting information with, you know, what
Say that
matter we
again.
Go
New.clwarriors.org.
back to W.
you might have to do it.
There you go. You'll see a banner across the top that says this is under construction. You can just hit close on that for the time being. Obviously, that'll be taken off when it goes live. That is, one of the functions of it is the emergency alert. So if like school is closed, we can post anything on there, and anybody that opens the website will say school's closed for today due to whatever the case may be. If there's some other urgent matter that you need to have posted and have it come across the top banner, we certainly could. There you go.
See, I don't have a doc, so if that's, you know, what they want.
Okay, so that's all the chat. Well, Marcy, kind of give the initial tour here, and as you have questions, feel free to fire away.
As Ben was saying, that red border or banner on the top, that's an emergency message, so if school were closed, don't contact me. But in case I were to put it up there, that would say school closed, or the high school is closed today because the roof fell in, or, you know, emergency messages, things like that. You can just click close and it will close, go away. This is our homepage. It's where you will go. The top screen, as you can see, has just photos right back and forth. The quick links, those are just, as it says, quick links. You click on that, it'll take you right to where you need to go. Once you go down, the junior senior high, that photo is our staff photo. If you click on that, it'll take you right to the junior senior high page. Same with elementary and the same with athletics. You'll see calendars on the right-hand side. Those calendars are synced with a Google Calendar for the district, so that updates every night and changes automatically. So if we change something on our district calendar, it'll go right there. So we never have to physically touch this calendar again.
And
It's
part
also-
of that, just real briefly, is that, you know, we're empowering the users to update and manage stuff ourselves. So that way, you know, instead of you guys saying, okay, we're gonna have the annual meeting tonight, and sending it to Lori, and Lori sends it to me, and I post it on the page, it's, you know, we have a couple designated representatives, that way they can go in and update the calendar, and it automatically hits the web page, and you don't have to have web developing experience to do that.
Yes, it's also synced with our schools, so the athletic events will automatically update. We do not have to physically touch that. As soon as the athletic department changes that, it will sync at night. It will delete the old messages, the old things. You'll notice right now there are a couple double events. It's driving me crazy. That is on the athletic side because they will label some volleyball girls and some is just volleyball. Same with football, those are boys football or football. So that will just happen through these two sports, and then they are working that on their side. So it'll be a little cleaner next year. If you want to see all events, we click the all events and it'll take you to the actual calendar where you can separate things into categories. There are categories up on the top. You can choose just what you want. You can put in certain dates, and you can view, let's say you just want volleyball for the whole year, and you can just see the volleyball. So that's really neat. If you just want to see the district calendar, you can do that. Going back to the homepage, the school started its own Twitter for the whole school district, so that will have a live feed on the left-hand side. And then these 4 boxes here, we have up to 4 messages that we can display, so our upcoming events will be on there. Those also will sync into the designated schools, so the high school ones will be on the side of the high school tab, and the elementary will be on the elementary side. And I thought it kind of filled up the page a little bit more, so I kind of stuck them on every page. So no matter where you go, you will still see the announcements.
And part of the thing with the Twitter account too is, again, we're empowering and trying to make the information more real time and flow faster. So Mr. Ernst, Mr. Peterson, Nick will all have access to that account, so hypothetically they could be walking around on their phones. In the event of something positive happening, they could tweet right from the spot. In the event of something bad happening, the information's getting out in a timely fashion. You know, this is what's going on, you know, go to the recall zone or the pickup zone or whatever the case may be. So there'll only be a few people with access to those accounts, but for those that have access, they'll have immediate communication with the public.
Once we click on the district site, it will show Mr. Ernst's photo. That's where he can kind of say his message. That he
Wanted that on the home page, but we couldn't.
Yeah.
Bigger.
We had actually redone the logo, and he was going to be the new mascot.
As you can see, it gives you space in the middle for a message or photos. On the right-hand side, that's where we added our Facebook link, and Mr. Peterson has an elementary Twitter. I will also add the Twitter once our school district gets up there. The announcements, as I said, also shows up on the right-hand side. The left-hand side is all of our links, our forms, our sheets. So once you click on that, if you want a form, it'll pop right up. You can print it off. Our hope is to eventually push these off onto Google Docs, you know, more live things, so you don't have to print them out, physically fill them out, and turn them into somebody. You just fill them out and send it back.
And like in the case of teacher pages, they'll be able to update themselves without having to be web developers. So, you know, some of the dialogue had centered around, we want more relevant, accurate, and detailed information from the classrooms, from the teachers, you know, going out to the public. Well, now the users will have the option to do that. Obviously, it's going to be elective, you know, maybe that policy will change down the road, but, if there's a football coach that wants to do a site for this or that, we'll link it to the Google site. It's as good as a homepage, just as effective, and now they have the ability to update it themselves.
So to kind of show what Ben is talking about, Board of Education, you have your own physical page right here, but you also have a school board website, so that when you click on that, it'll take you out to that website, which another person can control. We don't have to go through 5 people to get something submitted.
So, and if you look at this site, if everybody goes out there, and it might change, I know Nick's got some good ideas regarding some of the Google stuff. He has a lot of experience, and we're definitely going to lean on that. But as far as like your board meeting here goes tonight, there's an area under there that says members only, and Marcy won't have access to it because right now it's just me and a couple other users. You will be able to have documents that each of you can post to that, and the only people that will have access to it are you. So instead of getting these lovely tree-killing binders that you have sitting in front of you, the goal is someday that you have this set up where you're sitting now, where it's some type of an electronic device, be that iPad or otherwise, where now Lori or Josh can post stuff in there, like an agenda. You can post minutes in there. All of you guys can review those at home, and then you can come here and you're already armed with the information that you need to have to make your motions and take your votes. It's also useful if there's, the referendum hopefully was a one-time and a lifetime for everybody that was involved in that, but at the same time, there's a lot of information exchange. So to be able to post pictures and stuff like that for you guys and have it in a non-public area, I think is going to be of huge benefit. Obviously, there'll be a learning curve, but the entire district is going through some growth. So you guys will get to be part of that. Aren't you excited?
We get to.
The other thing that we're going to put here too is that like the minutes, as Lori gets them done and you guys get them approved, they're going to go right up there. If you go to the, I believe it's the school board documents, it's kind of right on the line there. But you can see that I've thrown a couple. Actually, if you go to minutes and agendas, and anybody can maintain this, anybody that you give access to controlling posting of the documents. And you just go ahead and click on like agendas. I think I posted a couple meetings ago just as an example so you guys can see it. So pops right up, gives you a description, says who uploaded it, and it's right there. And you guys can basically control it like you would save something on your flash drive at home. You guys have access to that, so.
And the board policies or manual will be in there.
I knew it was something that you guys had discussed and wanted it available, so it was just something I threw in there. Anything can be changed. You can call it whatever you want. If you wanted board policies, if you wanted that under a separate policy site, it was just a.
I do have board policies up on the main,
Up on that.
Yeah.
under your tab, the board policies.
And the question was if you wanted them under the school board site differently.
Yep. And we can take this whole page right here and just have it be a direct link right to that Google site. It doesn't, none of this has to be hosted on the website. It can all go to that school board Google site. And all of your board policies, the academic standards, DPI, all of that can be on your site, so. If you click on word policies, it's just the PDF of the policies.
You guys have any questions about like the board site or what that looks like, how it works?
I think we probably will eventually.
Right? It's pretty streamlined. The goal is that way you can log in from home. Honestly, I think most everybody here's got a smartphone. You could actually link to this site with your Gmail address, and you could be pulling up the agenda while you're standing at the gas station if you wanted to. Mobility is the word of the day.
So that's pretty much the district tab. We do have all of our standard district items that you would need. All of the forms for the district, high school and elementary, are on there. So parents can just click on there if they have no idea where to get their forms from. Just print it out, send it in.
And we did try to mirror as much from the old site to the new one, so as parents are trying to find the same form in the same spot as last year, at least at the onset, they'll be in the same spot, even though it's in the website this year. It'll change and hopefully become a little more streamlined, but it's going to be a living, breathing thing for the first 6 months anyway.
And they're in multiple spots.
Yes.
So it's not like it's hidden once deep within. So we tried to make it very repetitive. Our next tab, schools. It will open up the main page there, just shows the 2 schools. And then once you click over on the left, you can either do the drop-down menu to pick which school you want, or on the left. So if you pick the elementary school, there's Mr. Peterson's greeting along with his Facebook, Twitter, the elementary announcements. And then elementary specific needs are on the left-hand side. So they have more health transportation forms, so they have their own page. Guidance will have their own. Hopefully, like right now, I started a guidance page, but like we were saying, we were hoping that the staff were gonna do some Google training so that they can start their own Google site. So this, instead of going to a page for guidance, would go off onto her site, and then she can update it as it comes, and there's no middleman there. So it will go right off onto there. Below that is the high school, junior, senior high school.
Marcy, if I could just ask
Yes.
quickly. So the goal then is to have everyone, all of the staff to have their own site, basically?
Not all the staff, but if
Make it
people-
available.
Make it available. And there will be policies in place, there will be a standard template, it's not gonna be, hey, go out
Right,
and
it's
make
not
what
a
you want.
free-for-all.
There will be trainings on how to use it, they will have to go through, they'll have to sit through some workshops and understand how to make it, what is appropriate, digital citizenship, what's appropriate to put up there, what's not appropriate. Students cannot be in charge of these sites, we were discussing that. It's gonna be something that the teachers or the advisors have to be in charge of.
And just so everybody's clear, I mean, there's the Google Classroom component, which is going to be completely offline from this. And that's a very effective way of managing classrooms and assignments, and I see Pete shaking his head, so he knows the drill.
Yep.
Essentially what this would do is this would give parents a direct communication channel with staff. So if the staff want to, and obviously there's some training in there about, okay, we're not going to post student names, pictures unless they have the opt-out, that kind of thing. But if they want to post, this is what our class does, this is some, generic photos of a field trip, that gives them another way that, parents can kind of be part of their kids' lives in the classroom without actually having being there. And a lot of staff might opt out and say, you know what, that's not something I signed up for, I don't feel comfortable with that, and, not every staff is going to be given one, but if they want one, if they have the initiative, if they have the motivation, they have the skills to do it, we'll provide one out of the three, and the other two are up to them.
And what I've seen is the different levels look, quite a bit different. At the high school level, Ms. Hughes has a site, she may be posting assignments. So if, Johnny, is sick for a week, instead of trying to email or, they can access the assignments directly from that classroom site, where, elementary may have, just
Snack
kind of off the top of my
calendars
list, what snacks they're bringing, their class lists.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
little bit less interactive, maybe.
But it's gonna be up to them, if they wanna be posting every day, this is what we did today, or this is the book we read. I mean, that's their choice, because they're the ones that are gonna be doing it. They're not going through me or Nick, Mr. Crawford, to say, post this on my site, so.
Because that's
but it-
where a lot of the communication breakdown is now, the old site, it was, hey, I want this site, we give them a website, and then maybe they didn't know how to do it, or it kind of falls off the side of the road, and now all of a sudden you have information that's 4 years old, but then you have another one that's 3 days old, and nobody knows what to go to anymore, and it gets lost. So if they don't want a site, then they're not gonna have to have one. There's only a few critical ones that are kind of the blank template right now. It's like guidance, because they had some pages out there before that were managed by other than us collectively here. They'll be given the option to do that. Any staff members aren't going to have that by default, but if they want to do it, we'll make the link for them basically right off the staff directory, and she'll get into that in a little bit. But again, the goal is if they want to do it, they have a tool available to them. And part of that too, like Mercy said, is there's going to be some policies and a little bit of enforcement. If the website or the Google site hasn't been updated for 3 years, hopefully it won't be that long, but if it gets to that point, it's either going to be taken offline, or there's definitely going to be a conversation about, hey, is this something you still want to do? Because we want timely and relevant information.
Yes, it's easy. On our end, we can just take, if they say, I don't want to do it anymore, we just delete that link and it's gone. Nobody would even know, so. Back to the high school. This is the same. The relevant information is on the left-hand side, athletics, guidance. Guidance we put on there, the elementary, we have a lot of kids, that need supplies or need other things, so I figured that was something good for parents. At the high school, Ms. Kaler can put up, once she gets her website, she can put all her scholarship information on there, any, applications for students, so that's a great one. Again, it's pretty much just like all the other pages. We have some pictures, we have some information on the side. Once we go over to students, the students is, the same template, and then they have their quick links on the side. So if they need to get into Gmail or Lead 21, any of those things, they can click on students and find what they need. These links will change as the needs change. To show you, I quick made a Google site today. Yes, today, so don't judge me. And this would be, you know, a standard template. We haven't figured out what colors we want, what font we want, but this is, you know, you can't even tell, you left our site, but this is managed by me, and it will change how I change it. Our elementary kids use it all the time because of this. They can go on there, they can click on the symbol they want, and it takes them right to their website. And then it automatically logs them into certain ones as well. So that's why I really like it, because I don't have to call. I used to have to call Mr. Ganji and say, Mr. Ganji, will you add this link for me? You know, so this, I think, is going to be really helpful for our students.
Think of this more as a portal than as just a book that you would read. You know, a living, breathing portal.
And this is very basic. A basic start. You can add as many pages as you want. So I think it's going to be great. Yep, so they have all their links on the side. And then staff is pretty much the same way, but they can access their links as well. We have some rotating pictures, you know, to keep it interesting, of the different schools and what they do. Parents, same format, with the links that the parents might need. Forms are on the side, so if they say, well, I'm a parent, I'm going to go in there and find my forms that I need. It's right up there. Community, same thing. We have our links to the Village of Clear Lake Community Club, our community education, kids care, things like that. And then our contact us page. Staff directory. This is fun because if you don't know how to spell somebody's name, it gives you like what they think you want. Like Patty, I can never spell her last name, so I do J-A-K, and it comes up with Patty. So I like it. We have their pictures up there. If they do have a website, we can link that right off of here as well. So there's a spot, it'll say website, you click on it, it'll take you out to there. All staff and all administration is on there. Anything about that, Ben?
What's that?
Anything you want to add about that? The directory is a directory, but it's very valuable.
There's a lot of information we can put under each entry. There's a lot of fields available. We cleared most of them out because honestly, outside of web page, email, and a phone extension, I don't think we really want any more information out there. So it can be expanded as need be. There's actually, if you search for administration, you guys will find that you're out there already, as well as, you know, on that actual Google site for the school board. And if you guys per se wanted to make yourselves super available to the community and put your personal cell phones out there, we can do that. Greg's not laughing because everybody knows them and they already have it, so.
So that is the website. Nice and clean.
So who did all this work? You two and who else?
Yes.
Actually, collectively, the administrative team put in quite a few hours with us deciding how it was going to look. Marcy has done the bulk of adding the content. Dylan, my intern, is actually responsible for a good majority of the actual grunt work and working with
The talking back.
the CMS
Yeah.
and organizing it. He actually got his feet pretty wet with project management. I think he
And
had
did a
good time
phenomenal
with it.
job. It was with the CISA 6.
Yeah.
CISA 6, right? Yeah.
For being a kid that just graduated not that long ago, he's good.
Well, hats off to you guys, because this looks phenomenal.
And the mobile version looks really good too. It lines up. It
That you can
syncs.
actually thank Mr. Ernst. He was the one that
Yes.
really wanted to pick the high mobility, the mobile version, mobile-friendly
That
site.
looks really good.
Yeah, so
And
we're
so we're
happy
planning
with
to
that.
go live tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's still, you know, some minor changes that we're gonna be
Yep.
kind of working through for the next couple months, but overall, it's really, we're happy with it. And a huge thank you to Ben and Marcy and Dylan and the admin team for putting a lot of time into it.
Yeah, looking forward to watching it breathe.
Yeah, they will. Any other questions, or you guys want a few minutes to browse around?
So, starting tomorrow, then it's just Clear Lake,
It'll be clwarriors.org.
okay.
And it might be at some point tomorrow. The way this works on the back side of things is rather complex. And once we make the changes, and I'll initiate them tonight, actually it'll take up to 18 hours for it to make its way across the national servers before every internet provider points to the right spot. So I can't give you a dedicated set time, but part of the way we're doing a parallel deployment is to bring up the new one, leave the old one in place until everything's set and perfect, and then we'll redirect clearlake.k12.wi.us over to clwarriors.org. So I've already tested that by going the other way. if you actually go to clwarriors.org right now, it'll take you to clearlake.k12.ws. So there's kind of some redirection and some handoffs that will make sure there is zero downtime, but I can't give you a set time when the actual change will occur.
You can say you'll initiate it.
I will initiate it, and then we'll wait for the rest of the world to catch up.
So as far as the individual sports go, the head coach is responsible to get their own information on, or?
If they want to.
For a Google site or for a basketball game calendar? What do you mean, like the site?
Like a score of last night's basketball game.
That would be like a Facebook, kind of a Twitter thing.
Yeah, it can be done any way you want it to, and our goal is to get this live and then let you dictate, once you've got your hands on it like you do now, okay, this is what we want to see. And, you know, kind of the initial thought, where at least I'm at, and I think Marcy concurs, and some of the admin team is, you know, there'll maybe be a few generic sites for some of the bigger stuff, but if there's a club like the Trap League wants to have their own site and post pictures and scores, they can certainly do that. If the board feels that it's something that warrants a site, but that organizational leader doesn't want to take ownership, that's really the only question at this point is, okay, how are we going to handle that? And part of that is, you know, we have the tech coordinators now, we have Marcy, we have Nick. They're certainly not going to go out and create one for everything and then, you know, half of them go stagnant. It'll have to be as they want it, as there's an active initiative to pursue it, you know, then Marcy would be the go-to for it. You know, but it's simple. I think the district's been willing to train users, and I would see that extending out into some of the organizations that maybe not directly affiliated with the school, to say, okay, you know, you can sit in on this Google training since it's free anyway, and now they could, in theory, run their own site.
As far as the posting of the athletic events, Marcy had said the R schools, it's the letter R, and then schools, it's affiliated with WIA, and those generate the dates, and then it speaks to the Google account.
But they don't show who won, who
scores,
lost,
yeah.
that kind of thing. They'll just show there's a game tonight at this time, you know. So, but that would be more of a Facebook, or if they wanted their own site to update that. Kind of how we do it now, I guess. A Twitter thing.
Especially for high school, I think, Nick, you're pretty active, so is Chris. You guys post a lot of stuff about your buildings, and I think for, you know, you had pictures of the scrimmage, you know, the first one, and all the information was right there in live, so.
Cool.
And just so everybody knows, there is a differentiation between the Twitter that's on the homepage and like Nick's high school and Chris's elementary Twitter, and likewise for Facebook. The reason for that is, you know, on the homepage we didn't necessarily want to see, you know, Chris's tweets about, okay, you know, great job, JK, this and that and the other thing. We wanted that reserved for important district-wide relevant information. So there still is the link for the individual buildings that go to the respective pages where they need to go. So, you know, if you're a parent and you have kids in high school, you're probably going to follow that high school Facebook. If you're just somebody perusing the website, you're going to see that Twitter feed without having, you know, a Twitter account and actually following that main Twitter account.
We talked about how to do that, and you know, I've had a Twitter account of my own, and the question whether to keep using it or not. You know, I decided I'll keep my own, but I'm more sporadic with how I've used it. You know, I go kind of in fits and streaks of using it, but we thought, you know, if we have a district one, we've got multiple people feeding it, you know, 4 or 5 people, that way it's just more relevant, more real time, more up to date with things, and it'll just be more interesting for people to follow. And I'll continue to do my own things on the side too, but in a lesser.
And if somebody has something they want to post on that main site,
Yeah.
you know, they'll walk into the elementary office and say, here, would you tweet this out? And Chris or his designated representative will make it so.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Just blew us away, Marcy.
Looks really good.
So the link is live, so if you go home, you can peruse from there.
Yep, tonight it'll be new.clwarriors.org.
Yep.
Then after
At some
tomorrow
point.
night.
It'll change.
Yes. And I think all of our.
And they do correspond with the email address, if you didn't catch that already. So,
And all our parents, all the letters that went home have the new CLWarriors.org.
And that's-
Some of them might be trying to get there right now and they can't, so.
the most challenging part for like Marcy and the 60 hours she's probably putting on it in the last 5 days has been making sure that everything that's on the Clear Lake site is on the Warriors site. It's mirrored, so that when we make the switch, the only change is how it looks. You know, and so for that CL Warriors, they put out the documentation, we have that forwarded. So if anybody opens that letter right now and says, okay, go to clwarriors.org, they go there, they see what we have now. And then at some point in the future, it'll just change, but all the information's still there, so just got a lot of work in on it.
Thank you, Marcy. Very cool. Yeah, fabulous.
That's it.
Well, thank you, Ben. Marcy and everybody else that put work into the website. It looks fabulous. Any other discussion regarding the website? All right, then we'll move on to our superintendent notes. Mr. Ernst.
Well, the majority of my time has been spent with the annual meeting stuff, so I'm happy it's finally here and we're getting one under my belt. But I took a couple days off, and I came back, and both buildings have just been buzzing with staff. So you can tell that the year is ready to start, and the sports teams have kicked off. I went to our first football game with my 4 kiddos and watched the Clear Lake play Cameron, and it was a close game. Unfortunately, we lost 7-0, but it was still a fun game to watch, and received one. We ordered some Clear Lake apparel for the kids. That's on the admin team right now, where we have one Clear Lake t-shirt, and I have one kid sleeping in it, and he wakes up, and then it's the next kid's turn, so we're forcing him to try to wash the apparel. So the family we're very much excited to really transition. And
So the day shift kid wears it in the shower.
yeah, exactly.
When's the wash?
So yeah. So right now we're just the fall sports have kicked off. Volleyball, I think, is a scrimmage tonight, and football obviously had their first game. So we're just about in full swing here, and kids are coming soon.
Nice. Okay, we'll move on to our future agenda items. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to entertain putting on our next meeting agenda? Nothing. Okay. Well then, I get to thank you guys for coming to our meeting, and we're going to move on into contemplate the closed session, and hopefully get to see you guys at the annual meeting.
Do you guys want to do the picture after the meeting?
Do you want to get it done now?
Well, time in between, I think.
Yeah, we'll have time in between, but
So I'm just making sure everybody knows.
Don't forget.
where do you want us?
I don't know.
We'll figure that part out.
In front of the books, that'd be good.
See how light it is when you get done with your clothes.
All right, sounds good. So then, in accordance with WSS 19.85, paragraph 1C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. We will be discussing employment and compensation of a staff member. So now I will pull the board. Nettie?
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Peter?
Yes.
And David?
Yep.
We are in closed session. We are in open session. I will entertain a motion to approve our JK support staff hire. Sorry, Larry.
I'll make a motion.
I second it.
And the motion is that we approve our JK support staff hire of Katie Schroyer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And now I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion. Adjourn.
I'll entertain a second.
I will second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.